everyone. It is Wednesday, January 28th, 2026. I am Walter Bass. This is Truth News, and what a day. Literally 5 minutes ago, another one of these showed up to my door, another restraining order. Now I want you to look at the thickness of this, and I'm not joking, this is another one. And you see all those right there? These are all phone calls to Riverside County Sheriff's Department reporting the kidnapping and violent sexual assault of my son, who was 7 years old at the time, by serial child sex predator state judge Kelly Hansen, who's a Mormon. We all know about the Mormon cult, like these Jewish cults, the Catholic cult. Forgive me, Candace Owens, I know you're Catholic, and a few other Catholics that try to be good Christians, but the Catholics are a cult of pedophiles that molest boys. They have a problem with pedophilia running rampant with all of these dioceses and bishops. State Judge Kelly Hansen, kidnapping and sexually assaulting my son at 7 years old, leaving physical injuries, which I've taken photos of. But I want to go through and show you. Let's see how many phone calls. Now, I don't know if this is a continuation from yesterday's restraining order or if this is a new restraining order, but it's actually illegal for a Sheriff's Department dispatch center to file restraining orders against the public. So we're going to go through, and I'm going to show you how many phone calls. Now, out of all these phone calls, not one criminal complaint has been filed. Not one. Not one charge, not one. What's been done is I've been assaulted 3 times by the FBI. I was forced to live in a car for 3 years with no job, no money, no food stamps, no assistance to try to silence and discredit me. I've been put on 3 mental health holds to try to discredit me. I just got told yesterday in a cease and desist letter by Jason Hodges of Oklahoma City Intelligence that I have a mental health issue for reporting child sex trafficking. That seems to be a modus operandi, mental health. That's what they say about Candace. That's what they say about everybody. All the Hollywood people, Dave Chappelle, Mel Gibson, Britney Spears, Martin Lawrence, go against a cult of pedophiles that rapes, murders, and sells children. And, well, then you got a mental health issue. We can do this all night. All night, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. Look at all of these phone calls. And not one criminal complaint. But they find time to go to the courts to get a restraining order for the phone calls. They find time to get an attorney, which is Marissa Stone, the county counsel for Riverside County. Now, why does a county need its own law team? What is going on in public service that these people need a team of lawyers? And I called her and left her a message, and I got no response. And that was yesterday I called her about this, because this is null and void. This is toilet paper by law. I've already looked it up. You're more than welcome to look it up yourselves. Police dispatch cannot file restraining orders, especially public servants cannot file restraining orders against the public. It doesn't, maybe outside of work, but when they're at work, they're expected to serve the public. And when the public calls them to report crimes, and instead of taking a complaint for the crime, they cover up the crime, that is illegal. That is corruption. And that is why I'm at 1,602 days since my son was kidnapped and violently sexually assaulted by State Judge Kelly Hansen. Now, I already had a show written up, but I had to do some on-the-fly changes due to all this. And I also had a visit from the Midwest City Police Department today. The Oklahoma City Police came to do a welfare check because of my YouTube videos. My YouTube videos seem to be causing some uncomfortability with law enforcement because they sell stolen children for a century that I've thoroughly documented. You're more than welcome to go back in my YouTube shows. Selling Children for a Century, I believe is the title of it. And like I said, I'm not sure if this is a new one or if this is a continuation of yesterday's, but I literally just got this at my front door, I don't know, 5 minutes ago. And so I thought I'd go ahead and start my show. I was going to have my coffee first, but I'll have it during the show. And I want to thank everybody who takes the time to tune in and listen, because I don't make these videos for money. That's why I talk about the Jews, the pedophiles, the Mormons, the cults, the Catholics. That's why I talk about things like raping children, selling children, because I'm not in it for the money. And I definitely don't want to be famous for doing this. Who would want to be famous because your son is a victim of child sex trafficking? That's disgusting. I think Erica Kurt might, actually. There's a few people. Maybe Donald Trump. These people love the spotlight so much. So I did take some notes, and I think I'm going to title this show Enduring Retaliation for Reporting Child Sex Trafficking. Because since the Farmer sisters in the 90s went to the FBI to report the rape by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein that they endured, they have been retaliated against. A lot of these Epstein survivors have been retaliated against, threatened, coerced. Their families have been threatened. I mean, it's just sick and evil. So we're going to start with Ann Unmocked. I'm going to read a letter from her. This was a young lady that was in her program. And Ann Unmocked runs a program in Marietta, California, where State Judge Kelly Hansen kidnaps, molests, and sells children. She runs a program called Project Touch. Get it? Project Touch. Yeah. So let me see if I can find these photos. There's two. Wait, here we go. I might have them. I have what the judge said. I'm going to show you some photos tonight. This is a few photos before we get into Ann Unmocked of Riverside County. I want you to read this headline. Okay, I'll read it to you. Riverside woman blames foster care system for tortured death of brother she never knew. You know why she never knew her brother? Because Riverside County stole him and tortured him to death before she could. Social workers placed child rapists in California foster homes without warning parents. This guy right here, you can look these stories up. This guy went to several foster homes and was raping children in the homes, and they just kept moving him. Now, we're going to read, this is Kelly Hansen. This is the man, a devout Mormon, who kidnapped and violently sexually assaulted my son, who was 7 years old at the time, Grayson Bass. And we'll get more into him, because today, when they came to do a welfare check, there was talk of a Zoom visit with my child, which I find amazing considering Capitol Hill Police Intelligence told me more than a year ago that my son was dead to stop calling them. Now they're saying I might have a Zoom visit with my son. First of all, how do you Zoom with a dead child? Second of all, if he's not dead, why would Capitol Hill Police Intelligence, a taxpayer-funded law enforcement organization to the tune of $1 billion a year, tell me my son was dead? And we got other statements that have been made to me, like Kevin McCarthy, who is the former Speaker of the House. It's been a few years, if you haven't noticed. Kevin McCarthy's aide, when I was calling him, told me my son was with his stepdad. I have been told numerous things about my child. He's dead. He's with his stepdad. He's with his mom. He's in protective custody. You'll never see him again. You won't see him till he's 18 because you pissed the judge off by turning the judge in as a pedophile and a serial child rapist. Yeah, this is a part of enduring retaliation for reporting child sex trafficking. And what these people do. Now, this is a picture of my son when he was sexually assaulted. Do you see that on his mouth? Do you see that bruise on his upper lip? That is from an oral sexual assault of that man repeatedly forcing his dick in my son's mouth to the point of injury. Forcing his dick in a 7-year-old boy's mouth to the point of injury. And it's been 1,602 days since this happened. And the only thing that keeps happening is I keep reporting it, and the police keep showing up. I keep getting restraining orders. I got a restraining order here. I got the restraining order I just showed you. I got another restraining order here. I got threats from Oklahoma City Police Intelligence to turn me into the district attorney. I've got all kinds of stuff. Just, it seems like every time I try to protect children, the entire weight of the United States government rains down upon me. It almost seems like telling the truth and exposing pedophiles is a crime in the United States of America. So I'm going to read, so we will let the audience decide. I will tell you the law, and I'm going to tell you what Kelly Hansen said in the courtroom. I have the court transcripts. This is Penal Code 278 of California state law. It is illegal to maliciously remove a child from his or her parent or legal guardian, period. Similar to kidnapping, which is Penal Code 207. This is child abduction. I'm going to repeat that. It is illegal to maliciously remove a child from his parent or legal guardian. Now, I'm going to tell you what Kelly Hansen said in the courtroom. This is on court transcript, which I have highlighted right here. This is the judge, the court, which is Kelly Hansen. I'm going to take the fact that he says, being me, he, Walter Bass, I'm not going to allow my kid to be seen by CPS. And that he was trying to coach his son in the hallway to tell the officers that this is all a big lie is part of the reason I'm detaining today. So because I told my son basically that this court was a sham and I knew they were child sex trafficking, and I said I'm not going to let CPS see my kid, they took my kid. And then they stuck a dick in him, and then they trafficked him through 4 cities, 5 schools, 6 homes, tortured him. He went days without food. I had Zoom visits, as they call them, Zoom visits for a couple of months. You saw the photo of the physical injury, and I haven't seen or heard from my son since 2021. All because this man likes to fuck children. This man right here, you see that man? Kelly L. Hansen. Google him, Kelly L. Hansen, state judge of Marietta, California, devout Mormon. He is a serial child rapist, posing as a state judge. So let me get into this letter from Ann Unmarked, who works with Kelly Hansen. See, Ann Unmarked uses her nonprofit to... Oh, here's another one. Let's see if I can pull this up for you. CPS Riverside. This is a Facebook page. I want you to look at the date. Can you see that date? You can't see it. December 27th of 2015. Cash for kids. CPS of Riverside County. Cash for kids. Selling children. That's what they're doing. And that was in 2015. This right here. County of Riverside. This is a change.org petition to stop Riverside County from selling stolen American children. And they're still selling children. So this is a testimony of a lady, and I'm not going to give her name because she is a victim. And without her consent, I'm not going to give her name. But this was from March 24th of 2016, and it's titled, How Project Touch Tried to Take My Baby. How Project Touch Tried to Take My Baby. So when I say Ann, it's referring to Ann Unmacht, UNMACHT. You're more than welcome to look up Project Touch. You'll find a bunch of lies and propaganda, but I have evidence disputing. So, and this is disgusting. I'm going to give a warning that this is very, very, I won't say graphic because it's not detailed and graphic, but I will say it's very disturbing. Very disturbing. So how Project Touch tried to take my baby, March 24th, 2016. So Ann took me to a little room where we were alone and started asking me about when I was raped. And I said, I swear I haven't told anyone. She said, then why do I keep hearing about it? I said, I don't know. It's not from me. She said, you better keep your mouth shut or I'll make sure your baby gets taken away and put somewhere safe. She said I was a whore and God is punishing me. I said, I'm not a whore. I don't even know him. She said, you must have done something slutty or he wouldn't have raped you. She said, I need more money because I'm costing too much, as in the rent, because she runs a human trafficking organization. I went to Ann and told her, so she asked me a bunch of questions. I told her everything about the guy, what he did, and how he cornered me in my room and raped me. She told me not to tell anyone or I would lose my job. She said no police. She said I was hurting Project Touch by being raped. Can you read that? Ann Unmock told a rape victim in her program who was paying her rent, while Ann Unmocked is a state-funded not-for-profit supposedly helping people, told her she was hurting Project Touch by being raped. This is the most sick, disgusting, evil thing I've ever heard. Then she said if I told the police, she would kick me out for having sex. I was like, but I didn't want to have sex. He raped me. She said, I don't care. It's not about you. It's about what you did. God must be punishing you. Ladies and gentlemen, and I will send anyone this letter. I have that in my phone. I have it saved. And is that not disturbing? A woman being raped. And she goes to another woman for help, and the woman tells her to shut up or I'll have your baby taken and put somewhere safe. Now, how would a not-for-profit, state-funded, have a kid taken? I'll tell you how, because she works with State Judge Kelly Hansen, funneling people from her program into his courtroom to take their children so they can molest them, rape them, and sell them. Like my son, Grayson Bass. So... and I'm going to reiterate this point. I covered this in a previous show, but I'm going to say it again. 2,977 souls perished on 9/11 at the World Trade Center attacks. State Judge Kelly Hansen has 16 years worth of victims of children that he has been kidnapping, molesting, and selling. 2,977 is nothing compared to what Kelly Hansen has accrued over his 16-year career as a serial child pedophile, child rapist, predator. And to be honest with you, that's a big reason I'm getting restraining orders. That's a big reason I'm getting threats. That's a big reason the police keep showing up to my door asking if I'm okay and asking about my YouTube videos. Because they don't want to prosecute this judge, and I'll tell you why. The children are gone. The children are dead, like my son, or the children are in foreign countries like Romania with Erica Kirk's Romanian Angels, or maybe with Greg Laurie at Harvest Church being shipped to Romania. Those kids are gone. They can't be found. So they don't want to clean the case up. The FBI, the CIA, Homeland Security, nobody, you can't fix it because the kids are gone and there's 16 years worth of victims. And it would probably bankrupt the state of California to have to pay the damages for what this judge has done to thousands of children over 16 years with his sexual deviancy and his corruption. It's absolutely disgusting. So here's what I've endured. And I'm reiterating all this just because I keep getting threats. I keep getting restraining orders. I keep getting cease and desist letters. I keep getting stuff telling me to shut up about my 7-year-old son being kidnapped, sexually assaulted, and probably murdered, from what I understand, murdered, which I will get to later, because today they talked about a Zoom visit, like an internet visit. And my question is, like I said earlier, How do you Zoom with a dead child? Because I was told he was dead by Capitol Hill Police Intelligence more than a year ago when I was in Colorado, when I was at Lauren Boebert's office asking her for help, and she called the police on me for sliding evidence under her door because she wouldn't even open her door in Grand Junction, Colorado, at her congressional office where the public is supposed to be welcome anytime they are open to grieve their concerns with her as a public servant. No, they locked their doors and called the police. Tried to have me arrested for dropping off evidence of child sex trafficking. That's Lauren Boebert, who also signed the Epstein files release with Thomas Massey, Ro Khanna, and Marjorie Taylor Greene. So maybe that's why she signed the form, because I was at her office numerous days dropping off evidence. So, and I've been through so much, and I wrote down some of the things. I can remember it all vividly. It's trauma. And anyone who knows, when you suffer trauma, it don't go away. It doesn't go away. It stays with you. It kind of etches itself in your brain, like a car wreck or someone passing away. And, the death of a child is something I don't think anyone gets over. Like the death of Charlie Kirk. Candace Owens will probably never get over that. She's grieved and she might accept it, but it still hurts her. It still bothers her, and I know it does. And not just the fact that he died, it was the graphic and brutal way he died, and the cause for which he died, which was for Erica Kirk to be famous and rich and take over everything he built with his hard work and intelligence, because Erica Kirk don't do hard work and she has no intelligence. So, and that's what these people do. They find good, honest, hardworking people with intelligence and discipline and work ethic, and they prey on them like vultures and predators, and they use them, abuse them, and then throw them away when they're done with them. So, let's see, Ann Unmocked illegally evicted me in 2021, just weeks before my son was kidnapped. She illegally evicted me during COVID moratorium, refused to take my rent. I tried to pay her rent. And she said, no, I'm not accepting it. And had me illegally evicted. Why did she have me illegally evicted? So I couldn't get my son back once the judge kidnapped him, which is exactly what happened. See, it's a well-orchestrated child sex trafficking ring. They all work together for the common goal of getting these children away from the parents so they can molest them, sell them, and traffic them. Because children are like a drug that you don't have to replenish. You take one child at 7, 8 years old, and you can sell him for sex until he's 16, 17, 18 years old. I mean, it's never ending. It's just it's a money pit. And it's vile, it's disgusting, it's barbaric, it's cruel, it's inhumane. It's a level of evil, like I keep saying, it's a level of evil I've never seen. And I'm already at 23 minutes, so we're going to go a little over tonight. I'm sorry. And I'm going to try to condense this as much as I can. So after I was evicted, my son Grayson was kidnapped, sexually assaulted, abused, neglected, tortured, and trafficked. I haven't seen or heard from my son since 2021. I've gotten threats from Marietta Police Department, Jeremy Durant, Spencer Parker. You can look them up with Marietta. Jeremy Durant, Spencer Parker, both threatened me. Oklahoma City detectives, Brad Cotton threatened me. Jason Hodges threatened me. Jaron Stevens told me I wouldn't see my son till he was 18. I got that on body cam. The FBI has assaulted me 3 times, twice at my gym, once at a place of employment to try to intimidate me, to try to get me to shut up. I've been put on 3 mental health holds. They put 8 felonies on my background in 5 years, so I couldn't work. Made me live in a car for 3 years with no job. You know about all of that. So Capitol Hill Police said he was dead more than a year ago. Kevin McCarthy's age said he was with his stepdad. I'm blocked from all phone calls. I cannot call any public servants in the White House. None whatsoever. I try to call, and it says the number you have reached is no longer in service. So I don't think it's just me. I do think it's just my phone number has been blocked from everyone. I've called Tim Burchett. I've called Marjorie Taylor Greene, Claudia Tenney, Elise Stefanik, Josh Hawley. I've called Darrell Issa, Nancy Pelosi, Lauren Boebert, Tom Cole, Mark Wayne Mullins, James Langford, Mike Johnson. I've called James Comer, Jim Jordan. I've called so many public servants. It's ridiculous, and I'm blocked. Can't talk to my public servants. I go to work my butt off. Probably still got paint on me from today. Went to work, still dirty. I shower before bed, people. Don't judge me. I shower every night before bed, right before bed. So don't think I just walk around dirty. We don't do that here. No. So let's see. Blocked from all calls. Lauren Boebert called the police on me in Grand Junction, Colorado for dropping off evidence. No contact with my son. Today, like I said, they sent me another restraining order, another police contact. We're going to go through, I went through some of the photos, the change.org petition, the Facebook page. Sean McMillan sued Riverside County in 2014 for kidnapping children. 2014. 12 years ago, Riverside County was sued for kidnapping children. And they're still kidnapping children. We got Greg Laurie for 20 years selling children from Riverside to Romania. I mean, the Turpin kids, if anybody doesn't remember, Google the Turpin children. That is a horror story of how these children were already being brutally abused by their parents for years. They got a hold of Riverside County for help because they were in Riverside County, and Riverside County stole all of their money, trafficked them some more, and they got sexually assaulted in Riverside County by Riverside County itself. It's ridiculous. The Marietta murder mansion. It's just ridiculous. And I just want to say, I'm watching Candace Owens and what's going on, what people are saying about her. I'm a big fan of Candace Owens because she tells the truth and she stands for what's right. And she goes against anybody who's evil and wrong. And she's standing up for her friend Charlie Kirk, who I greatly admired and respected and actually did listen to. And I thought he made a lot of really valuable points. And a lot of his message came straight from the Bible. And for some reason, everyone hates the Bible. Everyone hates the truth. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. But I was watching Candace today, and I see the attacks coming still from Ben Shapiro and his midget horse, and it dawned on me that what it is when you tell the truth against these people, like State Judge Kelly Hansen or Ben Shapiro or Turning Point USA or Erica Kirk, they all have the same modus operandi. What they do is attack you so much that you can't even tell the truth about them. You're too busy trying to defend yourself. And that's what they want. They want to get you away from the truth by saying, well, just attack them and lie about them. That way they're too busy defending themselves to tell on us, And so that's why all these threats, these cease and desist letters I'm getting, restraining orders by the day now, it's not going to stop me from telling the truth. It's not going to deter my course. It's not going to change my mind. And that's a big thing they want to do is change your mind. Like Kanye West, he's got a song, and I listened to the lyrics. I didn't even know about this song until 2 days ago. And the name of the song is Heil Hitler. And in the opening verses, I don't listen to Kanye's music. I listen to Jesus Walks. That's the only song by Kanye I listen to. And I listen to it at the gym when I'm working out a lot because it's about Jesus and it's the truth. And but his Heil Hitler song, he talks about how they took his kids, took his money, and he still hasn't seen his children. And that seems to be a modus operandi with these people. They take your kids, and if you tell on them or yell and scream or do anything, say anything about them taking your kids, well, then they use your children as a weapon against you to shut up. And that's what they did to Kanye. Then if that doesn't work, then they take your money. That's what they did to Kanye. They did the same thing to me. This is like a standard step-by-step character and character and spiritual assassination of people. This is how these Jews do it. And, the government runs the same game. Hollywood runs the same game. Ask Dave Chappelle, ask Mel Gibson, ask Martin Lawrence. Same game. If you don't agree with them and shut up and let them do whatever they want to you, whether it's take your children, rape your children, murder your children, abuse you, use you to make money off of you, then they just attack you to the point where you'll just agree with them. Look at Kanye West. After all these years of telling the truth about the Jews being in a cult, being pedophiles, owning Hollywood, all the attacks they've done on him, all of a sudden he says, I'm sorry for my anti-Semitic comments. Still don't have his kids back. Still don't have his kids. So, and I still don't have my son, which I'm pretty sure is dead. They won't tell me because they want to use him as a weapon to punish me. It's emotional and psychological torture is what it is. Let's be honest with it. It's emotional and psychological torture. They take anything you love and they use it against you. And they try to take everything away from you. Look what they're doing to Candace Owens. They fired her from the Daily Wire. They tried to block her from getting any work. They did Tucker Carlson the same way. They fired him from Fox News. Tried to prevent him from getting any work. Tried to blacklist him and blackball him because he was telling the truth. And he still tells the truth. And Candace still tells the truth. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're at 31 minutes. I'm going to wrap this up for you. I was reading my Bible last night, and it's funny we're talking about the truth today because I read this right before bed. I read my Bible every day. Still reading How to Win Friends and Influence. I'm almost done with this book. If you can see where I'm at, that's the end right there. So I'm going to probably get Paradise Lost for my next book by Milton. I've heard about that book for years and I've never read it. I've actually never come across it in the bookstore. I look for books all the time. As a painter, I go in people's homes all the time and paint their homes. And anytime I see books, Jim Rohn taught me, if you ever meet someone and you want to know who they are, ask them to see their library. Because when you see someone's library, you'll know what they're putting in their head. And what they're putting in their head is who they are. If you go in their house and you see, National Enquirer, Entertainment Weekly, GQ, stuff like that, probably not that solid intellectually. You go in their house and you see Milton, you see Dale Carnegie, you see some of the best authors, whether it's Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl, that's a great book. There's just so many. Screwtape Letters, Marcus Aurelius. If you see anything like that, you probably know you're dealing with somebody who's intellectual. And it's good to be intellectual. It's good to take care of your mind, nourish your spirit, nourish your body. What else do you have? I mean, really, at the end of the day, whether you have $1 million or $1, does it really matter when it comes to mind, body, and spirit? I tell people this all the time. If I offered you $10 million today, but the only catch was you don't get to wake up tomorrow. You die at the end of the day. At midnight, when the clock strikes, you die, but you get $10 million. Would you take it? And most people ask this question to immediately say, no way. Are you kidding me? And I say, so basically what you're saying is just waking up today is worth more than $10 million. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to read this. And this is from the third epistle of John. I just finished the second, which is just a page, basically. The third epistle of John. And it's to the beloved Gaius, whom I love in truth. In truth. Very important. This Bible constantly talks about truth. And it says the devil, Satan, is the father of lies. And Jesus Christ is the truth. Now, if you don't want to believe in God, that's fine. If you don't want to believe in Jesus, that's fine. It's your soul. It's your eternity. You do whatever you want. But you have to believe in truth and lies. I mean, you have to. To have any type of grounding in reality and to have any type of life, you have to believe in truth and lies. And you have to understand that if you go down the road of lies, it's going to catch up with you. I mean, you're going to get found out eventually. It's just a matter of time. And if you go down the road of truth, You're probably not going to have a lot of friends. You're probably not going to be very popular. You're probably not going to be liked by a lot of people, and that's okay. But I'll tell you what you will have. You will have peace. You will have your soul. You will have integrity. And you will have a clear conscience. And there's a saying, an honest man's peace is his pillow. And I assure you, I've lived on both sides of the coin. I lived and did things I shouldn't have been doing. Lying, drinking, doing drugs, partying, hanging out with people I shouldn't have been hanging out with, scumbags that were even worse liars than me. And I didn't sleep very good at night. A lot of restless nights. A lot of restless nights. Now, I sleep like a baby every night. Every night. I don't have any friends. I don't do anything. I don't go out. All I do is work out, go to work, play with my dog, take care of my mother, and make these videos and read, study, take notes every day. I mean, this is only one. I've got, I don't know how many of these. I got notes and notes and notes. I like to read. I like to better myself. So, beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health, just as your soul prospers. For I rejoiced greatly when brethren came and testified of the truth that is in you, just as you walk in the truth. I have no greater joy than to hear that my children walk in truth. Jesus has no greater joy than to hear his children walk in truth. Now, I would say trying to impress Jesus Christ is a pretty high bar to set, and I'm not here to impress Jesus. I surrendered my life to Jesus and gave it to him, which means I do what the Bible says to the best of my ability. Am I perfect? No, nowhere close. Am I a sinner? Absolutely, absolutely. Do I need forgiving? Absolutely, and I ask him for forgiveness every day. But the other side of that coin is you stand up against evil. The Bible says, hate evil. And that is the purpose of these videos. That is the purpose of all this research, of all this diligence, of all this work, is combating evil. And I might do another show later. I don't know. I might do another show tomorrow. But I have an email. And I have some suggestions to the United States government. Of course, they're not going to take them because they're blinded by ego. They're megalomaniacs. But I did send emails to Baron Coleman, Candace Owens, Coach Colin, many others. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this. Please share this with as many people as you can. Please keep your children safe. Don't let the United States government anywhere near your children, whether it's law enforcement, whether it's CPS, whether it's a congressman, whether it's a senator, whether it's a Hollywood producer. Keep your children safe. Keep them away from public servants of the United States government. Thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe. Everyone have a good evening. We'll see you soon.